Judge Lu Part 2. One night Chu got tipsy and went to bed first, leaving the judge drinking by himself. In his drunken sleep he seemed to feel a pain in his stomach, and waking up he saw that the judge, who was standing by the side of the bed, had opened him, and was carefully arranging his inside. "What harm have I done you," cried Chu, "that you should thus seek to destroy me?" "Don't be afraid," replied the judge, laughing, "I am only providing you with a more intelligent heart." He then quietly put back Chu's viscera, and closed up the opening, securing it with a bandage tied tightly round his waist. There was no blood on the bed, and all Chu felt was a slight numbness in his inside. Here he observed the judge place a piece of flesh upon the table, and asked him what it was. "Your heart," said the latter, which wasn't at all good at composition, the proper orifice being stuffed up. "I have now provided you with a better one, which I procured from Hades, and I am keeping yours to put in its place." He then opened the door and took his leave. In the morning Chu undid the bandage, and looked at his waist, the wound on which had quite healed up, leaving only a red seam. From that moment, he became an apt scholar, and found his memory much improved, so much so, that a few days afterwards, he showed an essay to the judge for which he was very much commended. "However," said the latter, "your success will be limited to the master's degree. You won't get beyond that." "When shall I take it?" asked Chu. "This year," replied the judge. And so it turned out. Chu passed first on the list for the bachelor's degree, and then among the first 5 for the master's degree. His old comrades, who had been accustomed to make a laughing stock of him, were now astonished to find him a full-blown M.A., and when they learned how it had come about, they begged Chu to speak to the judge on their behalf. The judge promised to assist them, and they made all ready to receive him, but when in the evening he did come, they were so frightened at his red beard and flashing eyes that their teeth chattered in their heads. And one by one they stole away. Chu then took the judge home with him to have a cup together, and when the wine had mounted well into his head, he said, "I am deeply grateful to your excellencies former kindness in arranging my inside, but there is still another favor I venture to ask which possibly may be granted." The judge asked him what it was, and Chu replied, "If you can change a person's inside, you surely could also change his face. Now my wife is not at all a bad figure, but she is very ugly. I pray your excellency try the knife upon her." The judge laughed, and said he would do so, only it would be necessary to give him a little time. Some days subsequently, the judge knocked at Chu's door towards the middle of the night, whereupon the latter jumped up and invited him in. Lighting a candle, it was evident that the judge had something under his coat, and in answer to Chu's inquiries, he said, "It's what you asked me for. I have had great trouble in procuring it." He then produced the head of a nice-looking young girl, and presented it to Chu, who found the blood on the neck was still warm. "We must make haste," said the judge, "and take care not to wake the fowls or dogs." Chu was afraid his wife's door might be bolted, but the judge laid his hand on it and it opened at once. Chu then led him to the bed, where his wife was lying asleep on her side, and the judge, giving Chu the head to hold, drew from his boot a steel blade shaped like the handle of a spoon. He laid this across the lady's neck, which he cut through as if it had been a melon, and the head fell over the back of the pillow. Seizing the head he had brought with him, he now fitted it on carefully and accurately, and pressing it down to make it stick, bolstered the lady up with pillows placed on either side. When all was finished, he bade Chu put his wife's old head away, and then took his leave. Soon after Mrs. Chu waked up, and perceived a curious sensation about her neck, and a scaly feeling about the jaws. Putting her hand to her face, she found flakes of dry blood, and much frightened called a maidservant to bring water to wash it off. The maid servant was also greatly alarmed at the appearance of her face, and proceeded to wash off the blood, which colored a whole basin of water, but when she saw her mistress's new face she was almost frightened to death. Mrs. Chu took a mirror to look at herself, and was staring at herself in utter astonishment, when her husband came in and explained what had taken place. On examining her more closely, Chu saw that she had a well-featured pleasant face, of a medium order of beauty, and when he came to look at her neck, he found a red seam all round, with the parts above and below of a different colored flesh.